The hidden patterns that changed everything. This morning at 4:17 a.m., a team of independent researchers analyzing publicly available data from the 3-Eye Atlas object discovered something that government agencies have been trying to keep quiet for months. Hidden within what appeared to be routine observational data were patterns that reveal an agenda so carefully constructed, so methodically executed, that it could only mean one thing. We're not witnessing random cosmic phenomena. We're watching the implementation of a plan that has been in motion for far longer than anyone wants to admit. What I'm about to reveal represents the most significant breakthrough in understanding what 3-Eye Atlas is really doing on Earth. Because the data doesn't show exploration or scientific curiosity. It shows coordination, strategy, and objectives that align with something humanity was never meant to discover. My name is Michoku, and in 40 years of analyzing astronomical data and extraterrestrial phenomena, I never imagined I would be the one to decode evidence of an alien agenda that has been operating in plain sight, disguised as natural cosmic activity. The discovery wasn't made by NASA or any government facility. It was made by civilian researchers who noticed something that professional astronomers were either missing or deliberately ignoring. Have you ever wondered why certain data about 3-Eye Atlas keeps getting classified immediately after collection? Why some of the world's most prestigious observatories suddenly stop publishing their findings about this object? The answer isn't about protecting humanity from panic. It's about protecting an agenda from exposure, the initial discovery that nobody was supposed to make. The breakthrough came from Dr. Marcus Webb, a retired astrophysicist who spent 3 decades working for various space agencies before dedicating his retirement to independent research. He was analyzing publicly released telemetry data from multiple sources when he noticed something that should have been impossible. The data from different observatories, separated by thousands of miles and operating independently, contained identical anomalies occurring at precisely synchronized moments. At first, Dr. Webb assumed this was a data processing error or equipment malfunction affecting multiple facilities simultaneously. But when he examined the raw sensor readings, he discovered that the synchronization was real. 3-Eye Atlas was somehow coordinating its activities to be observed in specific ways by different monitoring stations at exactly the same time. But here's what makes this discovery truly disturbing. The synchronized activities weren't random. They formed patterns that, when mapped across time and location, revealed a systematic approach to Earth that looked nothing like exploration and everything like infiltration. 3 categories of coordinated activity became clear through the analysis: targeted electromagnetic scanning of specific geographic locations with military and technological significance, timed releases of microscopic particles into Earth's upper atmosphere that disperse according to prevailing wind patterns, and most concerning, what appears to be selective observation of human population centers with particular demographic and genetic characteristics. We're not being studied casually. We're being cataloged with the precision of intelligence gathering rather than scientific curiosity. The data pattern suggests that 3-Eye Atlas has been systematically collecting information about Earth's defensive capabilities, resource distribution, and population management systems since the moment it entered our solar system. The geographic targeting nobody wants to discuss. When Dr. Webb's team mapped the locations that received the most intensive scanning activity from 3-Eye Atlas, they discovered something that immediately attracted attention from government security agencies. The object wasn't focusing on natural wonders or geologically interesting formations. It was concentrating its observation on strategic military installations, critical infrastructure nodes, and research facilities involved in advanced technology development. The Pentagon was scanned 17 times in a single week. CERN's particle accelerator facilities received continuous monitoring for 32 consecutive days. Deep underground military bunkers that aren't publicly acknowledged showed up in the data as primary scanning targets. Their exact locations pinpointed with accuracy that suggests 3i Atlas possesses mapping capabilities far beyond anything humanity has achieved. But the most unsettling pattern involved power grid control centers. Every major electrical distribution hub in North America, Europe, and Asia has been scanned repeatedly, with particular attention paid to the interconnections between regional grids. It's exactly what you would do if you were planning to disable a planet's electrical infrastructure in a coordinated strike. My colleague, Dr. Sarah Martinez, a former intelligence analyst who now works in civilian research, described it perfectly. This isn't exploration, it's reconnaissance. These are the exact targeting patterns we would use if we were planning a takeover of another nation's critical infrastructure. But we're not talking about nations. We're talking about an entire planet, the atmospheric particles that shouldn't be there. The second category of coordinated activity involves something even more disturbing. 3i Atlas has been releasing microscopic particles into Earth's upper atmosphere at specific intervals, timed to coincide with atmospheric circulation patterns that will ensure maximum global dispersion. Chemical analysis of these particles, conducted by independent laboratories using samples collected by high-altitude research balloons, reveals composition that doesn't match any natural cosmic dust or known manufactured material. The particles appear to be self-organizing at the molecular level, forming networked structures once they settle into the lower atmosphere. Within weeks of release, these particles have been detected in rain samples, soil samples, and even biological specimens across every continent. They're everywhere now, integrated into Earth's ecosystem so thoroughly that removing them would be impossible. But here's what terrifies atmospheric scientists who have examined the data. The particles contain molecular components that appear designed for data transmission and reception. They're not passive dust. They're active monitoring devices, billions of them, creating a planet-wide sensor network that can detect electromagnetic activity, chemical signatures, and possibly even biological processes. Dr. James Chen, an atmospheric chemist who analyzed particle samples, made a statement that got him immediately contacted by government agencies. We're breathing surveillance technology. Every person on Earth now carries these particles in their lungs, their bloodstream, their tissues. If these particles can transmit data, then every human being has become an unwitting biological antenna. The implications extend beyond privacy concerns. If 3i Atlas can monitor biological processes through these particles, it can track disease patterns, genetic variations, and population health metrics in real time, but it can also potentially influence those processes. The same technology that monitors can manipulate delivering targeted molecular payloads to specific individuals or populations based on whatever criteria 3i Atlas has established. We're not just being watched, we're being infiltrated at the cellular level by technology we don't understand and can't remove. The population analysis that reveals selection criteria. The third category of coordinated activity is perhaps the most disturbing because it suggests that 3i Atlas isn't treating all humans equally. Analysis of scanning patterns reveals that certain demographic groups receive significantly more observation than others. The criteria for this selective attention include genetic diversity, educational achievement, technological aptitude, and something that researchers are calling adaptive psychology, the ability to adjust quickly to changing circumstances and accept new paradigms. Population centers with high concentrations of engineers, scientists, and technical specialists receive 3 times more scanning activity than regions with primarily non-technical populations. Areas with significant genetic diversity show up as priority observation zones. But most tellingly, regions that demonstrate rapid cultural adaptation and openness to technological change are monitored more intensively than traditional societies resistant to innovation. Dr. Webb's analysis suggests that 3i Atlas is identifying and cataloging individuals who would be most useful for some future purpose. The selection criteria look exactly like what you would establish if you were planning to recruit a workforce from an indigenous population or identify which members of a conquered society would be most cooperative with new management. My granddaughter, a genetics researcher, made an observation that still gives me chills. Grandpa, these selection patterns match exactly what we would do if we were trying to identify breeding populations for genetic engineering projects. They're not just observing humans, they're selecting us. The most classified discussions among government officials who have seen this data revolve around a question nobody wants to answer publicly. If 3i Atlas is selecting specific humans based on genetic and psychological criteria, what happens to the humans who don't meet those criteria? Are we looking at a future where humanity is divided into useful and expendable categories determined by alien evaluation? The communication networks we never authorized. Perhaps the most concrete evidence of 3i Atlas's hidden agenda comes from analysis of electromagnetic activity around the object itself. Multiple independent monitoring stations have detected communication transmissions between 3i Atlas and locations on Earth's surface, not random signals or attempts to establish contact. Actual coordinated communications using protocols that suggest established relationships with entities already present on our planet. The transmission destinations are disturbing. Remote locations far from population centers where no legitimate research facilities exist. Coordinates in deep ocean trenches where no human infrastructure should be operating. And most concerning, several major urban centers where the transmission endpoints coincide with corporate research facilities and government installations that officially have no involvement with extraterrestrial phenomena. Dr. Rebecca Foster, a signals intelligence specialist, decoded portions of these transmissions and found something that immediately resulted in her work being classified. The communication protocols use mathematical structures that match certain classified military encryption systems. Either 3i Atlas, independently developed encryption identical to secret human systems, or someone on Earth has been coordinating with this object long before its public arrival. The implications are staggering. If elements within human governments or corporations have been in contact with 3i Atlas or the intelligence behind it, then everything we've been told about this being an unexpected visitor is a lie. The agenda isn't being imposed on Earth from outside. It's being coordinated with collaborators already embedded in positions of power within human civilization. I need to share what happened when Dr. Foster tried to publish her findings. Within hours of submitting her paper to a peer-reviewed journal, she received visits from individuals who presented credentials from agencies she couldn't verify. Her research materials were confiscated under national security protocols. She was required to sign non-disclosure agreements under threat of prosecution for revealing classified information, even though her work was conducted entirely using publicly available data. The message was clear. Some truths about 3i Atlas are not meant to be public knowledge, even when civilians discover them through legal research. The agenda includes keeping humanity ignorant of the coordination already taking place between alien intelligence and human authorities. The timeline that proves this was planned years ago. When researchers examined historical data from astronomical observations, they found evidence that changed the entire narrative about 3i Atlas's arrival. The object didn't suddenly appear in our solar system. It has been present, moving in carefully calculated trajectories, for at least 8 years before its public discovery. The trajectories were designed to avoid detection by automated survey systems while remaining visible to observers who knew exactly where to look. This means the surprise arrival announced by observatories worldwide was actually the moment when 3i Atlas chose to reveal itself, not when it actually entered our solar system. For nearly a decade, this object was maneuvering through space near Earth while somehow avoiding detection by the most sophisticated astronomical monitoring systems ever created. But here's what makes this revelation truly disturbing. During those 8 years of hidden presence, multiple unexplained phenomena occurred on Earth that suddenly make sense when viewed as coordinated preparation. Mysterious technological failures in critical infrastructure systems that were never satisfactorily explained. unusual atmospheric disturbances that defied meteorological models. Even certain political and economic changes that seemed to emerge from nowhere suddenly look different when you consider the possibility of external influence. Dr. Martinez conducted a correlation analysis between known 3I Atlas positions during its hidden years and major technological disruptions worldwide. The correlations were statistically impossible to dismiss as coincidence. Every time 3I Atlas passed near Earth during its unobserved period, there were corresponding spikes in satellite malfunctions, power grid anomalies, and communication system failures. We weren't experiencing random technical problems over the past decade. We were experiencing test runs, systematic probing of Earth's technological vulnerabilities by an intelligence that was mapping our weaknesses long before we knew it was there. The human collaborators nobody will acknowledge. The most disturbing aspect of the hidden agenda involves evidence that 3I Atlas hasn't been working alone. Analysis of the communication patterns reveals that responses to 3I Atlas transmissions originate from sources that appear to be human facilities or human-controlled systems. The coordination suggests that elements within human society have been actively assisting whatever agenda 3I Atlas is implementing. These collaborators include individuals and organizations with access to classified technology, advanced research capabilities, and significant political influence. The transmission analysis indicates that information is flowing in both directions, with human sources providing data about Earth's population, resources, and technological capabilities while receiving instructions or information in return. Dr. Webb's team identified at least 7 major corporate entities and 4 government research programs that show communication signatures consistent with coordination with 3I Atlas. These aren't fringe organizations or conspiracy theory targets. These are mainstream institutions with public reputations for legitimate scientific research and technological development. But the most classified finding involves the nature of what's being exchanged. Human collaborators appear to be providing genetic databases, population surveys, and technological specifications in exchange for something the data can only describe as optimization protocols. It looks like certain humans are trading information about their own species for alien technology or methodology that provides competitive advantages in human society. My colleague Dr. Foster, before her research was classified, made a statement that haunts me. We're not looking at invasion or conquest in the traditional sense. We're looking at a franchise operation where certain humans have made deals to serve as local management for an alien agenda in exchange for benefits that make them more powerful than their fellow humans. The agenda isn't to destroy human civilization. It's to restructure it under new management, with some humans serving as willing administrators of a system that benefits them while subordinating the rest of humanity to alien objectives. This analysis represents interpretation of patterns found in publicly available data about 3I Atlas and related phenomena. While the evidence supports coordination that suggests a hidden agenda, readers should conduct their own research and reach their own conclusions about what these patterns mean for humanity's future. What do you think about the evidence of a hidden alien agenda? Are we still in time to determine our own future?